They told you it was something to be ashamed of. They said that as you age, especially after 60, you should simply let it go. But what they failed to mention was the hidden cost of that mindset. Hello there. I'm Dr. Laura Hayes. For the last 25 years, I have dedicated my life to helping older adults across our nation regain strength, reconnect with their bodies, and rediscover a sense of wholeness many thought was lost forever. And if there's one profound truth I've come to realize, it's this. Your need for intimacy doesn't just vanish after 60, it evolves and seeks expression in new ways. One of the most underestimated and often misunderstood aspects of this discussion is the significance of self-touch. This conversation isn't solely about pleasure, it's intertwined with your hormones, circulation, sleep quality, emotional state, memory function, and your identity as a man. The way you engage with yourself, how frequently you do so, how mindfully you approach it, and what intentions guide your touch can profoundly influence your testosterone levels. It directly affects your blood flow and nervous system too. Yes, even your capacity to feel vibrantly alive can be impacted by these choices. Sadly though, no one seems to teach us this vital information. Instead, we're met with silence, a silence that can lead to harm. In today's video, I'm here to shatter that silence. I'll unveil 7 essential secrets every man over 60 should know regarding self-touch, connection, and simple habits that can rejuvenate not just your body but also boost your confidence, vitality, and peace of mind. If you've ever felt like the spark within you is dimming or like you're fading from your own existence, then stay tuned. What you're about to discover might just reignite that flame within you. Secret number 1 is all about the silent trap, mindless masturbation. Let's dive into the most prevalent yet least discussed mistake. What may seem normal or harmless could actually be steering your body in an undesirable direction. I've had countless conversations with men, good men, who privately confess they still engage in masturbation but find it lacking any real satisfaction anymore. They share sentiments like I have to do things a certain way for anything to happen, or it takes longer now and feels less intense. They express feelings as if their bodies have forgotten how to respond. These men aren't broken, rather they've been conditioned through years of fast-paced, mechanical, and disconnected self-touch. Here's what's truly happening beneath the surface. When engaging in self-touch without awareness, just wanting a quick release, your nervous system learns this pattern. Same hand movements, same speed, same result each time. Your brain locks into this mindset thinking this is all there is, and over time, you start experiencing reduced sensitivity, weaker erections, longer delays in arousal, and even complete loss of orgasm for some men. This phenomenon is known as neurological overtraining. It's alarmingly common among older individuals who never realized their routine was subtly rewiring their arousal responses. But it's not merely physical, emotionally speaking. You may begin feeling distanced from both yourself and others around you, from pleasure itself. Confidence dwindles, leading many down a path filled with shame and frustration. A creeping sense of invisibility takes hold. Some men confide they avoid intimacy not due to lack of desire but because their bodies simply don't know how anymore. Their inability becomes intertwined with their identity loss. However, and here comes hope, the body possesses an incredible capacity for unlearning. At any age, it's possible for the nervous system to transform itself. You can rewire those pathways starting by slowing down, releasing performance pressure, and learning how to touch yourself intentionally, not purely for release but instead for connection. When you embrace this approach, something magical unfolds. Sensitivity returns, confidence blossoms, and gradually you reconnect with who you truly are, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually too. That marks the initial stride back towards wholeness. Now on to secret number 2, what occurs when you stop ejaculating? Let's shed light on something seldom discussed among older men, the reality surrounding ceasing ejaculation altogether. Many assume it's simply part of aging. You lose interest when partners are gone and phase out sexual engagement entirely, but biologically speaking, your body doesn't align with that belief. Allow me share a story about a patient I'll never forget. Let's call him David. At 68 years old, he appeared calm yet deeply private. He approached me largely due his waking up several times nightly feeling dull pressure within his pelvis. Assuming he'd merely entered old age territory. Yet something didn't sit right in my gut, so I gently asked him when he last ejaculated. He paused before admitting softly he hadn't engaged sexually since his wife passed away years ago. In fact, he thought men his age were supposed to stop entirely. I hear such sentiments all too often, but here lies an important biological truth. Your prostate doesn't cease functioning just because you've stopped ejaculating, it continues producing fluid. When there isn't an outlet for these fluids, over time congestion builds, leading inflammation, causing pressure within glands. This results frequent urination issues along discomfort during sex or while urinating itself. Moreover, chronic inflammation concerning prostate health has links higher risks related diseases, even cancer. Now don't misunderstand, I'm not implying abstinence directly causes cancer, but regular healthy ejaculation helps alleviate built-up pressures, clears away fluids, supporting overall prostate wellness. A Harvard study involving over 30,000 participants found those who ejaculated at least 21 times monthly showcased significantly lower chances developing prostate cancer than those who didn't ejaculate regularly. For David, understanding these facts transformed everything. He began re-establishing connections, not driven by lust, but genuine care toward himself. Gradually symptoms eased up. He started sleeping better again too, while lifting pressure off himself. Most importantly, a spark reignited behind his eyes once more. He didn't merely experience relief. He rediscovered feelings associated masculinity. So listen closely. If months, or even years have passed since last ejaculation, thinking life wasn't meant anymore beyond sexual engagement, your prostate remains active, needing attention. You wouldn't neglect heart health, would ya? So why ignore this? Secret number 3 dives into mental costs arising shame surrounding self-touch. Many older gentlemen carry unseen burdens, a weight woven from silences spoken throughout lives. This manifests whenever I inquire about sexual habits, seeing eyes drop, shifting laughter, quickly turning subjects elsewhere upon mentioning self-touch. For many shame roots early on, they were taught during childhood, touching oneself deemed dirty, sinful, weak. Those words clung tightly, shaping perceptions regarding own bodies long into adulthood. Here's where clarity emerges. Shame represents more than mere emotion, it acts biologically like stressor, elevating cortisol levels, stress hormone, constricting muscles, causing guilt loops which wear down spirits over time, affecting moods drastically. Take for instance another patient aged 72, recently divorced, expressing thoughts around closure regarding intimate chapters. Yet beneath surface lay grief, not solely focused on sex, but yearning connections, missed parts once allowed themselves explore freely. Despite lacking medications, serious health conditions, exhaustion, numbing isolation lingered heavy upon him. We commenced small steps, introducing exercises enabling reconnect irons. We prioritized presence, breath, touch, devoid expectations. After weeks, transformation occurred, visibly evident during next visit. Blood pressures lowered, smiling easier, reflecting joyfulness, restored inner vitality cultivated through reclaiming lost selves. Regular healthy self-touches aren't selfish nor dirty, they elevate dopamine, oxytocin hormones, fostering trust, calmness, connection, reducing stress, enhancing cognitive clarity, emotional stability, overall well-being. On contrary, shame isolates, shutting down energies, making individuals feel smaller than reality dictates. Truth needs echoing loudly. You're never too old, feeling vibrant, alive, connecting others, oneself, breaking free burdens, holding souls captive. Release shame, restores pleasure, dignity, igniting sparks worth living, fully alive. Secret 4 explores testosterone connections, unveiling how intentionality revitalizes manhood. Letting me share insight few realize until nearing tipping points. Testosterone declines don't stem solely from aging, it diminishes because bodies perceive diminishing needs. Signals vitality, strength, drive, desire decrease alongside disuse patterns emerging. As intimacy fades, pleasure, imagination shut down, brains take notice, saying he no longer requires, thus dialing back, systems fueling liveliness. Muscle mass decreases, belly fat accumulates, sleep deteriorates, motivation falters, slowly morphing identities entirely. Witnessed firsthand through Frank, aged 73, retired firefighter, once epitome physical prowess. Arriving, worn, drooping shoulders, expressing lackluster existence, seeking support. Reviewing labs revealed testosterone barely above deficiency levels, prompting inquiries. Intimacy waived, dismissively declaring futility, perceived pursuit. Belief disconnection constituted crux issue rather than age or physique itself. Initiatives launched focusing rebuilding relationships, commencing gentle present intentional self-touches, reminding brains former sensations lived vibrantly experienced. And so we continue our journey together, exploring deeper truths necessary, reclaim fullness, vitality. Lives deserve experiencing richness, deserving every single moment unfolding ahead. The very systems that once brought you joy. You might notice muscle loss. You could gain some belly fat. Your sleep may not be as restful. Your drive could diminish. And gradually, you start to feel like a stranger in your own skin. I remember a patient named Frank. At 73 years old, he was a retired firefighter, once the embodiment of vitality. When he visited me, he seemed exhausted, his shoulders sagged. He lamented, "I just don't feel like myself anymore." Upon examining his lab results, I found his testosterone levels barely registered above deficiency. When I broached the topic of intimacy with him, he dismissed it with a wave of his hand. "I don't see the point anymore," he said. But let me clarify, it wasn't age or physical decline that was to blame, it was disconnection from himself. So we embarked on a simple journey, rebuilding his relationship with himself, no shame involved here. Just gentle and intentional self-touch to remind his brain, I still want this, I still need this. As months passed by, something remarkable unfolded. His hormone levels began to rise, his posture improved, the depth returned to his voice, he became more active once again, and most importantly, his inner spark reignited. Here's what research indicates. Engaging in solo sexual activity with awareness and intention can provide a temporary boost to testosterone level. Erotic imagination and anticipation send signals to your brain that you're still in the game. And when your brain receives that message, your body responds with energy and confidence. If you've stopped nurturing yourself because you thought age had sidelined you, hear me out, you don't lose testosterone simply due to aging. It's because your body believes you've checked out, but guess what? You're still present, and it's time to remind your biology of this truth. Now let's discuss secret number 5, why erections matter even if you're not having sex. There exists an insidious myth among many older men, I'm not having sex anymore so erections don't really matter. But let's get real here, erections are about so much more than just sexual pleasure, they're crucial for circulation and tissue health as well as neurological vitality. Consider this analogy. If you neglect moving your legs for an extended period, they weaken over time. If you fail to utilize your lungs fully, you lose breathing capacity. Similarly, if you allow your sexual system to fall into disuse, it begins to atrophy, that's pure biology speaking. Allow me to introduce Harold, a 69-year-old gentleman who came into my care one day, a thoughtful man who hadn't experienced an erection in over 5 years, not due to inability but simply because he'd ceased trying altogether after losing his wife and not dating again anymore. He thought, why bother? What Harold didn't realize is that while he believed nothing would change, the reality was different. Systems within him were shutting down slowly but surely. The penis comprises smooth muscle along with sensitive vascular tissue. It requires regular oxygenation through erections, or else it begins losing elasticity over time. Blood vessels become rigid while nitric oxide levels dip, and scar tissue can form too, all leading up towards even greater difficulties when attempting intimacy later on down the line. Even if desire returns, the body may no longer respond as before. This loss isn't merely physical, it impacts confidence too, along with masculinity itself, as well as creating subtle shifts within one's sense of self-worth. But here's where hope shines through. All is not lost. Even without current sexual activity alongside another person, you can preserve erectile function through gentle yet regular self-stimulation practices, not performance-driven nor pressured, but rather focused on simple touch, reminding one's body, we're still here. This matters greatly because by doing so, you maintain healthy tissues along with blood flow while keeping those vital neural pathways alive, thereby preserving ability alongside identity itself. And let me emphasize once more, the focus isn't about chasing pleasure but rather maintaining function, for when connection does reappear, you'll want every part ready for engagement. Next up is secret number 6, a conversation about how porn affects our brains, and why feeling has become increasingly difficult for some older men. Let's address something honestly, a topic often approached quietly by many older gentlemen, not pursued purely for thrill, but rather nostalgia or memory. I'm talking about pornography. Now please know, I'm not here casting judgment. I understand numerous individuals find themselves alone at times, with some experiencing unintended solitude while others have lost partners, and thus porn becomes an escape route, igniting feelings long forgotten. However, many men remain unaware today's porn doesn't align well with how their brains were originally wired. It has transformed from being slow-paced and suggestive into something instantaneous, which bombards users relentlessly, leading them towards overstimulation overload. With each scroll or click, the brain learns quickly, seeking ever greater intensity and novelty, resulting inevitably in diminished sensitivity overall. Over time, just like any addictive cycle, the receptors dull, prompting users needing increasingly extreme content, merely feeling anything at all. And herein lies tragedy itself. What once ignited desire now numbs it altogether, causing individuals experiencing less pleasure during intimate moments, even those shared intimately alone. As some may develop full-blown porn-induced erectile dysfunction, where arousal only occurs via screens instead of real-life situations. I've witnessed grown men shed tears within my office, not from shame, but heartbreak, realizing that relief sought has inadvertently robbed them of sensitivity they cherished deeply. So listen closely, you are not broken, instead retrainable. Your capacity still exists, waiting patiently beneath layers, needing only resetting. Some choose complete abstinence from pornography lasting 30 days, whilst others begin slowing down, opting instead toward moments filled solely by mindfulness and presence. Ultimately, though, goal remains clear, not abandoning pleasure entirely, but reclaiming its essence, teaching nervous systems how respond authentically once again, to breathe deeply, imagining sensations arising naturally through gentle conscious touch. When engaging mindfully, pleasures return, transforming into something deeper and profoundly real. Moving on, we arrive at secret number 7, which addresses isolation's hidden dangers, why touch remains imperative beyond 60 years old. Amongst myriad risks faced after reaching 60, including heart disease, low testosterone, memory decline, there lurks another threat, often overlooked yet equally perilous: physical isolation, not merely living solo, but going weeks, months, or even years devoid meaningful contact, void genuine touch. No hand resting upon shoulder, no warm embrace, no skin-to-skin connection, lacking even intimacy shared privately amongst oneself. Once I encountered Peter, aged 76, a retired engineer, impeccably dressed, polite, articulate. However, upon discussing daily routines, something struck home. He hadn't felt another human being's touch throughout an entire year, not even a handshake or friendly pat on back, nothing whatsoever. And shockingly enough, did not convey sadness, instead presented it casually, accepting such absence as normalcy, believing perhaps chapter closed forevermore. But here lies crucial insight Peter missed, understanding deeply ahead. Touch isn't optional, it constitutes biological necessity, crucially wired within every human nervous system across all ages. Going too long without tactile interaction leads various systems gradually shutting down, including oxytocin, the bonding hormone, diminishing cortisol, recessing blood pressure, soaring sleep quality, plummeting immune defenses, weakening worst off emotional circuits, growing numbness setting in, not serving protective purposes either, but ultimately convincing brain's connections aren't forthcoming. Slowly fading away from one's own existence doesn't begin solely loneliness, rather starts small unnoticed gestures, skipped weak bonds, severed quiet choices made, ceasing reach outwards toward oneself. Yet there is always hope available, reconnecting possible. Engaging gently touching own body intentionally promotes reclaiming nervous system essential functions, telling minds clearly I deserve sensation, I yearn fulfillment. And when initiated sparks reignite postures, lift voices, gain strength, renewed energy emerges, purpose flourishes brightly once more. If you've stuck around until now, I extend heartfelt gratitude, for delving into these complex discussions today wasn't easy nor clinical. It proved personal, instead exploring how mindless habits stealthily reshape our nervous systems, revealing truths surrounding ejaculation, prostate pressures, intertwined shame affecting mental health, highlighting significance beyond mere age. Engagement matters significantly. Erections signify vital signs representing much larger narrative encompassing experiences lived, pivotal events transpired illustrating vulnerabilities exposed, revealing potential dangers lurking silently beneath surface level interactions. These aren't mere statistics, they serve invitations beckoning each individual return unto themselves, halting abandonment patterns, reclaim dormant parts, yearning vibrancy, belief reinstated without shame, acknowledging presence, worthiness remains intact despite challenges faced head-on. For every man pondering avenues towards beginning anew, allow me share precious tool gifted frequently, patience alike known, commonly referred golden protocol encompassing 10-minute daily reset ritual set aside dedicated minutes morning evening free from goals agendas performances focusing solely you. Breath touch presence unfolding gently allowing bodies recall inherent safety residing therein. This transcends stimulation aimed solely reclamation embarking journey returning home promising results should these 10 minutes consistently embraced yield responses rekindled fiery spirits dignity restored shining bright illuminating paths forward ahead embracing life fully lived passionately engaged alive vibrantly thriving amidst uncertainties encountered daily. Should resonate echo inside, please share wisdom gained encouraging others needing hear uplifting messages echoing loud reminding everyone still here profound importance remaining visible acknowledging intrinsic value unique stories told throughout journeys traversed together hand in hand forging connections lasting lifetimes ahead awaiting discovery. Sure. Please provide the fragment you would like me to rewrite.